Hi, I'm Emily from Chasing Simple, and today I am decorating my home for summer. But first, I am cleaning up things that are overtly spring. Typically, my seasonal decor really is a fairly good overhaul, I would say, into the next season. I have a fairly neutral home, so I'm able to just switch into the other seasons by changing things out on my mantle, changing out throw pillows and accessories in a few key areas, and I follow a little bit of a formula. But spring and summer definitely merge for me. So there's things that feel very overtly spring that I'm going ahead and taking down. Things like various little spring animals, birds' nests, things that are overtly Easter related, and florals that we wouldn't see once spring has passed. So all of those things I go ahead and remove, and then I just make a couple of little tweaks in order to go into summer. Most of our life is lived outside during the summer, and so my focus is certainly more outside than it is in, but of course I want the inside of our home to reflect what's happening in nature. So I do want it to still feel like summertime inside as well as outside. The trouble that I get into, and maybe you can relate, is that I live in a landlocked state. And so, the ocean is nothing that I really associate with summertime. And honestly, there's just a lot there that I don't think of as summer. And so, summer is hot around here. It's definitely, um, more beautiful in terms of the garden and all of that. But really, other than like maybe some time at the lake, I'm not thinking of anything coastal, and that would really just not make sense where I live. And so sometimes I have struggled with, well, then what do you decorate with? And so today I'll be showing you some of the things that I'm using to decorate for summer. And for the most part, these are things that I already had. So I'm just pulling things forward and things that I already have somewhere in my house. I'm just kind of gathering those things together and putting them together in kind of a meaningful way so that it feels like summer. And so there's really no pressure, especially if you already decorated for spring. Probably are halfway there or maybe even more than that already. So I hope you'll join me today as I walk you through my very simple setup for summer decorating. So here's some things that I kind of pulled forward from my home and from my yard for decorating for the season. And so I did this little watercolor painting. I have this strawberry plate, a strawberry napkin, a little buoy, a fern, a pot that's kind of pretty. I pulled my watering can in from outside, some rattan. I found these really beautiful hosta leaves at a little home decor shop that's local, and I fell in love with them. So I bought a bunch of those and will be using them tirelessly. And a little planter, some sunflower seeds, and some lemons. And so, it's just kind of focused on like the bounty of the season, I would say, and a definite sense of kind of like bringing the outdoors in a bit. So I'm starting by just putting some potting soil in the little footed planter. And this doesn't have drainage holes, so this may or may not go very well, but I stuck a few rocks at the bottom and I'm kind of hoping for the best. But if you're like an actual plant person, then you're seeing why I kill all plants, but at least indoor ones. But I decided it might be kind of fun to do like a little planter, kind of like I do on my porch, inside on my kitchen counter. And I thought that might be kind of cute. So this is a little fern that I just picked up at Lowe's. And then I also put a little impatient that I honestly just like dug out of a pot. And then I'm combining that with some of the faux hosta leaves. And I think if you're going to combine real and faux floral, then you're going to have really good looking faux floral. And I feel like I do. So I'm doing that, and hopefully it'll be a nice win. But I think this will be kind of fun to have some like kind of sculptural impact from this planter. And this planter is actually from like the end cap at Target maybe 2 years ago. And I thought it was really cute, and I bought it and it was on super clearance. I think it was like $3 or $4. And I see now like why it was, because it's actually not quite, like, it's a little off kilter. But it works totally fine. And like with a fern in it, especially, you really can't tell. So I had fun just kind of getting my hands dirty and doing that. And then brought it inside and just added it to this little sink tray. And I love to kind of corral things in the kitchen because it just makes things look tidier. So these are things that I use, like my dishwasher pods and my dish soap. And so they're decor too. I choose things that are attractive since they're going to be out. But then I'm combining that with a little floral that just kind of makes me reminiscent of summertime, like my containers outside. So I had a good time with this. I thought this was really cute, and I've looked at this several times since doing it and just thought it was really very charming. And gratefully, these are wired, so I was able to kind of get it just the way that I wanted to have it. Next, I like to change out the florals in this little lady head planter. And I am going to leave the ferns and the little, I don't know if those are like alliums or what, but I'm going to leave those in there because I think they're cute. And I'm just going to put one hosta leaf, almost like it's her little hat or something. And when I bought these, I knew that I wanted to do that. So that was kind of fun. I put this piece of artwork up here. I got this from the She Holds Dearly box, and I loved it up here. I don't usually put really anything up above my range hood, but I think I'm going to go ahead and just pop this little watercolor that I did that's just like of a watering can and a wheelbarrow with some florals in it, you know. And I'm just going to pop that into this frame and enjoy this for a little bit longer. I thought the little chambray bow was kind of fun up there. And I don't know, it just kind of softened it. I do less decor in the warmer months than I do in like fall or winter, for example. So it's kind of sweet and fun to do it. And yeah, I enjoyed it. And I also enjoyed, taking the time to do the little watercolor. So now I'm onto this little hutch that I keep in my kitchen, and I still have all of my cabbageware and things like that in here. And I'm going to leave all of that because that stuff feels still very summery to me, and I love it. So I might as well get a little bit more mileage out of it. But I did pick up this adorable little strawberry napkin, and so I'm going to tuck that under this little stack of plates. And then I also am going to put a couple of little seed packets in here. Now, everything's already planted at this point, but I succession plant sunflowers so that I kind of have them all season long, because you really only get one sunflower per seed, or at least the varieties that I've grown. And so every 2 weeks, I have to go out and put in new sunflower seeds so that I'll always have sunflowers going. And so I do plant sunflowers throughout the entire course of the summer. So I thought that'd be kind of cute to just tuck those in there, and then I could remember to do that throughout the summer, and that it would just kind of look summery as well. And other than that, I think this just can kind of stay as it is. That feels summery enough to me. And then I'm kind of on to this little plate wall next to that hutch. And so this is my grandma's china that I received when she died. And I do actually use it sometimes as well. But I have had fun kind of swapping out some of the plates for other seasonal plates or other decorative objects during the different seasons. And I don't know. This one is like maybe more whimsical than I've done before. And so I'm not 100% sure if I think it's cute or if I think that in 3 years I will cringe at this video, but I'm going to go with it and see what I think. But I have this fun little flower bowl, which is actually food safe. I use it as a salad bowl all the time. But it does kind of remind me, well, it's a magnolia flower, but it does kind of remind me of like a flower that has strawberry blossoms from. So I thought that could be kind of fun. And then I put a little strawberry dish up there too. I had the idea to bring my watering can in from outside because I kind of got my irrigation all set up. So I really almost never use my watering can at this point. And I figured I'll just try it. And if I need another one outside, I'll get another one. But I decided to go ahead and put my florals in there instead of in the usual vase. And I think it's kind of cute. I like the galvanized metal. I mean, I think there's challenges to it. Like there's really only a hole on one side, and so it's kind of hard to get your florals just right. But I played with it a little bit, and I feel like certainly it looks whimsical, and I like that it feels a little different than it did in the spring just by changing the container. And so I am going to go ahead and do this, and then I'm going to take down this little asparagus fern, which is faux, that was next to it for the spring, and I'll put a little buoy there. And I know I said like nothing coastal, but I've had this for a long time actually, and we do go like on a trip to a specific lake every year, and so I do kind of associate this with summer, and so this is my one little nod to the lake. So I took that little potted plant that's faux and I stuck it in my powder bathroom, which just adds a little life in there. And that's really all I'm going to do. I usually switch out artwork in this room, but I don't really do that during the summer. I have a really pretty like embroidered piece of fabric in that frame, and this is the only time of year that it gets to really be seen. The other times of year I cover it up. So onto my living room, I'm going to move a cat so that I can put this cute little rattan covered dome down. This will be great to store like various remotes so that we don't have to see any of that. And also so my family can't find them ever. And then I decided to stick this little stack of books and the little framed fern, which the fern is something that I had gotten in the She Holds Dearly box for spring. Um, and I just decided to kind of put them in this cute little planter. This planter is like too small to really plant anything in, but I do think it's really adorable with the scallop detail. And it's kind of a sweet memory. Somebody gave it to me for an event. And so I do kind of like it for that reason. And so I wanted to use this if it felt natural, and if not, then no big deal. But I kind of think this is cute, or at least cute enough, on my side table for the summer. And then I have a little scalloped wood bowl or tray that I fill with faux lemons, and I probably would not endorse any other faux food being used as decor, but lemons are so quintessentially summer. I love them out, and people ask if they're real. And I mean, my son took a bite out of one while I was doing this, so I feel like they must look at least reasonably real. And I think they're kind of cute. Now, this year, I really wanted to put these hosta leaves in with them, which I don't know why, because it's not like you'd see that in nature. And I might undo this because I'm not sure if I'm in love with it. You'll have to let me know in the comments. But I just do love the leaves. I think they're so overscaled and fun, and they are a really pretty color with the lemons. So for now, this is my little simple centerpiece, and I will enjoy this. Of course, if you used a tremendous number of lemons on a regular basis, you could just use real lemons. I use like 2 a week, so I'm never going to get through, you know, 18 lemons on a regular enough basis for them not to go bad. So I do choose to use faux, but of course you could use something different. So here's my whole summer home decorating touches for you to see. Enjoy, and thanks for joining me today.